Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2025, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 77 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030, and Viksit Bharat at 2047, commemorating and celebrating as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art Sciences and Well. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today is celebrated and commemorated as International Day of Human Fraternity on 4th February every year, with the theme for 2025, Human Fraternity for Peace and Cooperation. What is a culture of peace? A culture of peace is a set of values, attitudes, traditions, and modes of behavior and ways of life based on respect for life, ending of violence, and promotion of practice of non-violence through education, dialogue, and cooperation. Full respect for the principles of sovereignty, territorial integrity, and political independence of states and non-intervention matters, which are essentially with the domestic jurisdiction of any state in accordance with the Charter of United Nations and international law. Full respect for the promotion of all human rights and fundamental freedoms. Commitment to peaceful settlement of conflicts. Efforts to meet the developmental and environmental needs of present and future generations. Respect for and promotion of the right to development. Respect for and promotion of equal rights and opportunities for women and men. Respect for and promotion of the right of everyone to freedom of expression, opinion, and information. Adherence to the principles of freedom, justice, democracy, tolerance, solidarity, cooperation, pluralism, cultural diversity, dialogue, and understanding at all levels of society and among nations, and fostered by an enabling national and international environment conducive to peace. So, human fraternity for peace and cooperation, we need perhaps more than ever before to recognize the valuable contribution of people of all religions or beliefs to humanity and the contribution that dialogue among all religious groups can make towards an improved awareness and understanding of the common values shared by all humankind. We also need to underline the importance of raising awareness about different cultures and religions or beliefs and the promotion of tolerance, which involves societal acceptance and respect for religious and cultural diversity, including with regard to religious expression. Education, in particular at school, should contribute in a meaningful way to promoting tolerance and elimination of discrimination based on religion or belief. Furthermore, we must acknowledge that tolerance, pluralistic tradition, mutual respect, and the diversity of religions and beliefs promote human fraternity. Thus, it is imperative that we encourage activities aimed at promoting interreligious and intercultural dialogue in order to enhance peace and social stability, respect for diversity and mutual respect, and to create at the global level and also at the regional, national, and local levels an environment conducive to peace and mutual understanding. Within that frame, the General Assembly took note of all international, regional, and national and local initiatives as appropriate as well as efforts by religious leaders to promote interreligious and intercultural dialogue. In this regard, took note also of the meeting between Pope Francis and the Grand Imam of Al Azhar, Ahmad El Tayyib, on 4th February 2019 in Abu Dhabi, which resulted in signing of the document entitled Human Fraternity for World Peace and Living Together. Following the devastation of the Second World War, the United Nations was established to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war. One of its purposes is to achieve international cooperation in solving international problems, including by promoting and encouraging respect for human rights and for fundamental freedoms for all without distinction as to race, sex, language, or religion. In 1999, the General Assembly adopted by Resolution 53 by 240 the Declaration and the Program of Action on a Culture of Peace, which serves as a universal mandate for the international community, particularly the United Nations system to promote a culture of peace and nonviolence that benefits all of humanity, including future generations. The declaration came about as a result of the long held and cherished concept contained within the Constitution of UNESCO that since wars began in the minds of men, it is in the minds of men that the defenses of peace must be constructed. The declaration embraces the principle that peace is not merely the absence of conflict, but also requires a positive, dynamic, particular participatory process in which dialogue is encouraged and conflicts are resolved in a spirit of mutual understanding and cooperation. On 20 October 2010, the General Assembly in Resolution 65 by 5 pointed out that mutual understanding and interreligious dialogue constitute important dimensions of a culture of peace and established World Interfaith Harmony Week. As a way to promote harmony between all people, regardless of their faith, it further recognized the imperative need for dialogue among different faiths and religions to enhance mutual understanding, harmony, and cooperation among people. At the core of all faith systems and traditions in the recognition that we're all together and that we need to love and support one another to live in harmony and peace in an environmentally sustainable world. One world continues to be the best by conflict and intolerance, with rising number of refugees and internally displaced in a hostile and unwelcoming world around them. We are also fortunately witnessing the changes at the same time, unfortunately, witnessing messages of hate spreading discord among people. The need for spiritual guidance has never been greater. It is imperative that we double our efforts to spread the message of good neighborliness based on our common humanity, a message shared by all faith traditions. The United Nations General Assembly proclaimed 4th February as the International Day of Human Fraternity, with Resolution 75 by 200. Today is also commemorated as World Cancer Day. World Cancer Day is observed worldwide on February 4th, that is today, every year. Cancer has an impact on all of us, either directly or indirectly. That's why World Cancer Day on February 4th is an important day to raise awareness about prevention, detection, and treatment. Started by the Union for International Cancer Control in 2008, World Cancer Day activities seek to significantly reduce illness and death caused by cancer by 2020. World Cancer Day is observed worldwide on February 4th. The aim is to inform and encourage people on its prevention, early detection, and treatment. This initiative was taken by Union for International Cancer Control to campaign and advocate for the targets of World Cancer Declaration penned in 2008. According to the World Health Organization, cancer is one of the leading causes of death worldwide. The Union for International Cancer Control, UICC in short, was established in 1990. Based in Geneva, it is a membership based society working towards the eradication of cancer around the world and advancing medical research. Under its direction, the first International Cancer Day was celebrated in Geneva, Switzerland in the same year. Several well known organizations, cancer societies, and treatment centers also supported this initiative. World Cancer Day was made official at the first World Summit Against Cancer in 2000. The event took place in Paris and was attended by the members of cancer organizations and prominent government leaders from around the world. A document titled The Charter of Paris Against Cancer, featuring 10 articles, was signed outlining a global commitment to improving the facilitation and quality of life of cancer patients. Advancements and increased investment in researching, preventing, and treating cancer was also highlighted. Article 10th of this charter officially declared World Cancer Day to be observed on February 4th. Cancer has numerous types, so there are various colors and symbols used to mark a specific type of cancer and promote the fight against it. The orange ribbon is for creating awareness of cancer in children, while the pink ribbon is globally associated with breast cancer awareness as a symbol of hope for patients and survivors. The daffodil flower is used by the American Cancer Society for a future where this life threatening disease no longer exists. On this day, hundreds of events and fundraisers takes place around the world each year to bring individuals and communities and organizations together in hospitals, schools, businesses, markets, community halls, parks, etc., to campaign and deliver the powerful reminder that those hit by cancer are not alone, and we all share a responsibility in reducing the global impact of this disease. Cancer is more than a disease. Cancer touches millions of lives in countless ways, but it doesn't define who we are. We are more than a disease, more than a statistic. The new World Cancer Day campaign for 2025 to 2027 is united by unique, places people at the center of care and will explore new ways of making a difference. It offers a 3 year journey from raising awareness to taking action. Cancer is more just than a medical diagnosis. It's a deeply personal matter. Behind every diagnosis lies a unique human story. Stories of grief, pain, healing, resilience, love, and more. That's why a people centric approach to cancer care fully integrates each individual's unique needs with compassion and empathy, leads to the best health outcomes. Unique stories to inspire change. Find out people around you who are battling with cancer or who are who have won the cancer, and let's use this day for generating more content, more inspiration from them. So let's all together unite for the cancer. Now, what is people centered care? When we talk about people centered care, treat the person, not just the disease. People living with the cancer don't always feel heard, seen, or understood. They might feel alienated and voiceless at a time when they are also learning to navigate on unfamiliar and confusing health systems. Not to mention dealing with emotional heights and lows of cancer, diagnosis, treatment, or recovery. People centered cancer care represents an opportunity to refocus, rewire, and rewrite how we think about cancer, to embrace people's differences, and to make sure that everyone is seen for who they really are and has access to the care they need. How does it work? How can we achieve this people centered care? By collaboration, connection, and community efforts. It's all about collaboration. People centered care reorients healthcare around the people instead of disease. It recognizes that every person is unique and prioritizes their needs, hears their concerns with compassion and empathy, helps them retain autonomy, and empowers them to actively participate in the decision making process rather than simply being passive receivers of care. People centered care also recognizes the importance of social ties. It seeks to engage individuals, families, and communities beyond the clinical settings and is built on knowledge that involving these connections enables more human and holistic care and that better meets a person's unique physical, mental, and spiritual needs. It's all about community. People are more than just patients. And before they ever interact with the healthcare system, they benefit by being informed and engaged. Taking a community approach to cancer care improves health literacy and self care while ensuring that health systems meet the real world needs of the people they serve. It's a proven approach. Support for a people centered care approach has been growing for years. And for the good reason, it improves access to care and provides many positive effects throughout the treatment and recovery, leading to improvements in both physical and emotional well being. The World Health Organization has written that developing more integrated people centered care systems has the potential to generate significant benefits to the health and healthcare of all people. Studies show that integrated people centered care models result in individuals feeling better throughout the treatment, lead to higher quality of care and more trust in doctors, increase overall satisfaction among patients and families, improve the morale of healthcare workers, reduce disparities in access to the and in delivery of services, ensuring that everyone can receive the care they need when and where they need it. Enhance efficiency by providing services in most cost-effective manner, balancing health, nutrition, prevention, and treatment, and minimizing resource waste. Bolster resilience by strengthening the capacity of health systems to respond effectively to public health crises, ensuring that no one is left behind. It turns out that when a compassionate, humanizing, and empowering approach is thoroughly incorporated into health systems, one that not only understands but values a person's inherent uniqueness, it creates a different kind of relationship between patient and provider. It brings everyone closer together. So, what's in a name? Patient versus person versus people. In healthcare, you will hear about people centered care, but also person centered and patient centered care. These terms are closely related and are often used interchangeably, but they are not the same. Patient centered care respects a patient's feelings, values, and preferences about their own care. It emphasizes the importance of treating patients as partners and can involve shared decision making. The care is coordinated across different services and providers to help ensure that all aspects of the treatment are aligned, reducing confusion and improving the overall experience. Patient centered care significantly relates to the clinical context and interactions within a healthcare system. Person centered care expands the focus on beyond the patient to the individual as a whole person and considers all aspects of their life. It's not just their disease, it values people's unique experiences and wishes, including psychological, social, and spiritual needs. It supports the individuals in a holistic manner, taking their personal life, identity, and social context into account. People centered care takes the most valuable elements of the patient and person centered models and places them within a broader context of community. This model takes the widest possible view as individuals actively participate in their treatment and their experience and values are heard and respected, while it engages families, social connections, and wider communities as vital pillars of high quality cancer care. It also intended to address the health care of entire populations, ensuring that healthcare systems are designed to serve all people equitably and inclusively. So, to conclude, we can say patient centered care focuses specifically on the individual as a patient within the healthcare system, whereas person centered care considers individual holistically within the broader context of their life. People centered care focus on the health and well being of entire populations or communities, aiming to improve healthcare systems and access for all. All approaches are essential for delivering comprehensive and effective health care. And while the World Cancer Day campaign theme particularly highlights people centered care, it does, of course, encompass the key elements and driving force of person and patient centered care approaches. So today is also commemorated as Farmers' Day in China and Taiwan. Basically, the farmers' way of welcoming the new year in Taiwan and China is celebrated every year between the Gregorian dates, February 3rd and February 5th, within this year's celebration falling on February 4th. This day, which is widely observed in Taiwan, is also known as Lichun, marking the beginning of the spring. Farmers' Day is an annual observance in many countries to acknowledge the contribution of farmers and agriculture. Chinese New Year is also celebrated around this time, so it's a perfect to celebrate the beginning of Lichun with special village events, offering ceremonies and prayers to the god for joyous and prosperous New Year. Before the political divide between mainland China and Taiwan, there used to be a time when were one country and within the same traditions and customs. Despite their political differences, Taiwan and China have exhibited identical history, culture, and traditions. One of their traditions have been farming, which, according to archaeologists, date back at least 20,000 years ago. The primary occupation of the people used to be farming, and a portion of whatever they produced was collected as taxes. In the rich traditional history of China and Taiwan, the influences of various dynasties exist. Their own gods and supreme ones were introduced. There is a widespread belief in the existence of superpowers, superior powers, incomprehensible to humans, powers that in Chinese traditional polytheistic religion are sacred. Hence, the tradition of appeasing these gods and asking them for favors in normal day to day endeavors. With the Chinese having their own calendar and a strong system of sticking to their traditions, the farmers developed a ritual of celebrating the arrival of the new year by offering their farm produce to their gods. This would in turn return bless them and with their families with prosperity and health. And although today such practices have lost their spiritual touch, people in China and Taiwan, and to a lesser extent Korea, continue to uphold and observe these traditions. Farmers have always been celebrated these traditions as a part of their culture, but the actually proclamation of this day as a day dedicated to celebrating farmers for their valuable contribution was done in 1941 in the Republic of China. Upon the arrival of every new year, farmers exhibit their produce to welcome the new year with an exciting spirit and with high hopes. Today is also commemorated as Facebook's birthday in US. Annually on February 4th, the day originated in 2004 by the app's owner and creator Mark Zuckerberg. Facebook is today the most popular social media network. Facebook is the main reason most of our friends know our birthday. It's time we return the favor and celebrate the birthday of our favorite social network. Facebook is American, but it has reached the whole world and changed the face of advertisements forever. Facebook is a free platform that operates on ad money alone. Of course, there is $1 million data business that happens. That's a different story altogether. Today is also commemorated as Angola Liberation Day, which is commemorated every year on February 4th, along with the Day of Armed Struggle to celebrate Angolan MP LA's People Movement of the Liberation of Angola, feat when the soldiers attacked and liberated the detained independence leaders from a Luanda jailhouse. Portugal colonized Angola as early as 16th century, but it took until 1920s to completely rule over Angola. By the beginning of 1960s, several African countries managed to splendidly chase out their invaders, including Ghana, Nigeria, and Democratic Republic of the Congo. Angola's neighbor, African nationalism seemed unstoppable, making other countries loosen their grip nonetheless. Portugal instead tightened its grip on its former colonies across the continent. And also, the Angolian rebellion came around before long, mainly driven by forced culmination of cotton, which erupted into violence in February 1960 as the demand for Angolian nationalism grew stronger. During the early morning hours of February 4th, black militants attacked a police patrol car and assaulted a civil jail of Sao Paulo, as well as military detection house and police barracks in an attempt to release political prisoners and captive there. The Angolian War of Independence continued as part of Portuguese colonial war until 1974, when a new liberal leadership in Portugal came to power and declared a ceasefire, officially kicking off the Angolian War of Independence. Today is also commemorated as African American Coaches Day in US. Every first Tuesday of February in the United States is celebrated as African American Coaches Day. This day addresses the need for Black community to embrace coaching to help spur business and personal development. Although its history isn't documented, the significant day trashes baseless stereotypes throughout history that African Americans aren't good enough. A mere scan through the history books clearly shows that they undeniably sit amongst the world's most brilliant minds with super impressive accomplishments. Hence, the reason there are a ton of scholarships available for Black students. Some of the world's famous life coaches are life and business strategists and the New York Times best-selling author Tony Robbins, best-selling author, and coach Nicole Montes, and best-selling author Martha Beck, known as Oprah Winfrey's life coach, to name a few. Today is also commemorated as Creative Vacuum Day in US. When the atmospheric pressure in a space is lower than that of the surrounding area, a vacuum is created. This dip in pressure requires all matter to be evacuated from the space in question, which is only possible to do in a controlled environment. What we can do instead is create a partial vacuum through all sorts of fun equipment. The vacuum was considered to be impossible by some ancient Greek scholars like Aristotle because they believed that the nature would not allow a void. But scientists in the 17th century, such as Blaise Pascal, further conducted experiments on vacuum technology and discovered other principles that are widely applied today, such as hydrodynamics. Today is also commemorated as Medjool Date Day. It serves the purpose of highlighting the benefits of the medjool dates. Originally a Middle Eastern fruit, medjool dates made their way to the US in the 18th century, and since then they have reigned in the hearts of people. With a hint of caramel flavor, the dates are sweet, delicious, and one of the healthiest snacks on the market nowadays. They are also a great for energy and can do wonders for people who are trying to cut down on consumption of artificial sugar. Today is also commemorated as National Day of Sri Lanka, which is Independence Day celebrated in Sri Lanka on February 4th every year. The day commemorates the country's independence from British rule after years of being under colonial dominance. Citizens of Sri Lanka patriotically celebrate their identity and culture on this day. The day is marked by a number of events throughout the country, including parades, flag hoisting ceremonies, dances, and performances. Sri Lanka is a pear-shaped island in the Indian Ocean, with the Park Strait separating it from the Indian peninsula. Sri Lankan civilization goes as far back as 6th century BC. The country was once known as Ceylon. It is also has been referred to as Taprobane by the ancient Greeks and Serendip by the Arabs, enjoying extensive economic and cultural traditions with surrounding civilizations. Thanks to its strategic location in maritime routes, the geography of the region was exactly what made the country an important economic hub for British Empire, which colonized Sri Lanka in 1850. By 1948, Sri Lanka was granted a semi-independent status and became fully independent on May 22, 1970. Since then, it has been formally recognized as the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka. Today is also commemorated as National Hemp Day in US. We celebrate the wonderful properties of hemp and the booming hemp industry. This was started by CBDMD to create awareness about hemp plants and their increasing popularity. Due to hemp's classification as a cannabis plant, many people misunderstand its properties and uses. However, plant has been essential in the progress and innovation of many industries, including textile and construction. Fibers obtained from hemp are used to make fabric and other materials by some of the earliest civilizations. Hemp was also very popular in ancient India, ranking in the sacred text of Other Veda as one of the five sacred plants of the region. Hemp is believed to be one of the first crops cultivated in the world, considered very significant to the progression of mankind. Hemp's association with cannabis sativa leads to oppression and resistance among certain groups of people. The Farm Bill was passed in 2018, making hemp-based products much more readily available to the public for purchase. These products are as diverse as CBD oil, insulation plastics, paint, and even biofuels. Today is also commemorated as National Homemade Soup Day in US. Soup is a perfect winter meal. People have been enjoying this simple yet extremely delicious dish since 20,000 BC. Different flavors and types of soups are eaten around the world according to the culinary culture of a particular region. Soups in India and China are spicier than those served in New Zealand and Canada. They are also combined with other ingredients such as meats or vegetables to add more taste to them. However, soup is generally just a liquid normally served warm. The word soup itself originated from French word soup, which means broth. This French word in turn is derived from the Latin word supa, which means a piece of soaked bread. Today is also commemorated as National Israel Day on February 4th to recognize all people with the name Israel or Israel, often known as Israel or Israel, is a biblical surname. Today is also commemorated as National Stuffed Mushroom Day in US. Primarily featured at parties, this savory dish is prepared by removing the stems of mushroom and filling the leftover Halloween area with vegetables. Cheese and breadcrumbs are sprinkled on the top before the mushrooms are baked and served. Today is also commemorated as National Thank a Mail Carrier Day. Chances are weather is windy and blustery cold and maybe even snowy where you live. But the weather shouldn't stop you from thanking your left letter carrier because they are the ones braving the conditions to get the mail to you. There are plenty of jokes to told about undelivered letters, but nobody gets them. So we will refrain from telling them here. The key is telling mailman jokes is good delivery. So we will leave those for the dedicated men and women who will be making sure that the mail gets delivered today. They deserve our appreciation every day, but too often they are not recognized for the work they do. So today we salute the mail carriers who ensure our post reaches us. Today is also commemorated as National Vicar Day in US. Vicar is not a common as it is used to be, but it's still a fashionable and eco-friendly. Wicker is a technique for making products woven from any one of the variety of plant materials. It is a generic name for materials used in manufacture. Furthermore, the term is used for the technique of making the materials. Wicker can be used to make furniture, baskets, and souvenirs. National Wicker Day celebrates this great fiber and people who create valuable items. Wicker is traditionally made of plant material. The most common materials include willow, rattan, reed, and bamboo. With time, even synthetic fibers are also being used as wicker. The wicker is light yet sturdy, making it suitable for moving items. Often, you must have noticed that porch and patio furniture are wicker. There is also commemorated as Philippine American War Memorial Day in Philippines, which takes place on February 4th every year. It could be considered a continuation of Philippines' revolution against Spanish rule during the Philippine-American War on the Philippine insurrection between 1899 and 1901. By the end of the Spanish-American War, Spain was defeated and the war concluded with the Treaty of Paris, under which Philippines' jurisdiction was transferred from Spain to the United States. Consequently, the United States attempted to annex the Philippines and stood in the way of its independence. Naturally, Filipino leaders who had control over the whole archipelago except Manila retaliated. The Philippine-American War ensued between the United States and Filipino revolutionaries from 1899 to 1902 when the US finally suppressed the revolt. 1902 marked the official end of the battle, but occasional combat continued for many years. The US kept its authority on the archipelago uninterrupted until 1946, except during the World War II. Today is also commemorated as Sweater Day in US. Getting ready to snuggle into the warmest sweaters on cold days, the warmth and comfort of a sweater feel like a hug. It's even better if the sweater is borrowed from a partner's wardrobe. But there's more to this day. Sweaters Day also aims to encourage everyone to layer and bundle up the sweaters so that the thermostats can be turned down. Sweater Days also helps raise awareness about the climate change. It's a great opportunity to demonstrate how together everyone can be part of the much needed solution to global warming. We can reflect on our personal carbon footprints and make commitments in our daily lives that which contribute to keeping climate change in check, which will have a huge collective impact. One of such commitments could be simply choose sweaters over thermostat during cold winter. It is understandable that in the dead of winters, we need more heat to stay warm and toasty indoors. But this leads to astronomical bills and consumption of fuel. Energy and its cost can be decreased if you simply bundle up. It's easy to have a single layer of warm clothing and have the whole house warmed up. But why not wear thick, fuzzy sweaters instead? Save the environment. The World Wildlife Fund established Sweater Day and advocates it every year. The circle of life means human depletion of natural resources negatively impacts animal well being and their habitats. Consumption of fuel pollutes the environment and water, endangering the lives of animals. Changing our little habits can make a difference. Today is also commemorated as Torture Abolition Day in US, which is observed on February 4th every year. In the US, it is a day that is dedicated to celebrating the end of the use of torture in society. The torture of people or animals for personal gain or pleasure is simply illegal. Inhuman acts were performed on people for years. People fought to end it. All humans and living things deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. Torture Abolition Day raises awareness to remind people of this and make sure that the illegal act of torture is not practiced. Today is also commemorated as the USO Day, which is celebration of a non-profitable charitable corporation, the United Service Organization, provide live entertainment, care packages, and much more. The USO is a bridge connecting overseas soldiers to their friends and families and homes. The USO partnered with the War Department and later with the Department of Defense to serve everyone in the military line. The troops fighting in World War II were the first to benefit from organization efforts, and now almost 4.9 million members are impacted by the US. With this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for joining us on this wonderful day. See you all tomorrow at the same time with the same joining link with different commemorations. Before leaving, we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form that has been raised in the form of polls.